Okay, let's talk about something that genuinely keeps world leaders and military strategists up at night. It's the scenario of a major war in the Middle East, one where a single flashpoint could just spiral out of control and pull the entire world into a crisis. We're going to break down what a conflict like that could actually look like, why the risks feel higher than ever, and what it would mean for all of us. Let's get right into it. For millions and millions of people who have ties to the Middle East, this constant talk of war isn't just a headline on the news. No, it's a real source of anxiety for family, for friends, and for the stability of countries they call home. So today, we're looking at the very real human and economic stakes of a potential large-scale conflict in the Gulf. Imagine this. You wake up one morning in a global hub like Dubai, but instead of the usual hustle, you hear explosions. You see smoke filling the sky over the airport, one of the busiest in the world, and it's just shut down. Flights are canceled, people are being evacuated. This is the kind of chaos experts warned would unfold almost instantly, completely freezing travel, trade, and turning the lives of millions of people upside down. So, what's behind all this? What are the tensions that make this really alarming scenario a constant threat? Well, the answer goes back to a geopolitical rivalry that has been simmering for decades and is now, pretty much at a boiling point. One of the most feared outcomes, and one that everyone hopes to avoid, involves a direct military clash. On one side, you have Iran, and on the other, the United States and Israel. And look, this isn't some distant fantasy. A lot of the escalations we've seen in recent years have brought the world dangerously close to this becoming a reality. Any attack like this would be huge, a complex, multi-day air campaign. According to military analysts, the goal would be to take out Iran's key assets. We're talking nuclear facilities, missile sites, and their command centers. But as we've seen time and time again in other wars, actually hitting military targets without massive collateral damage is incredibly difficult. In any conflict, you have to think about who's in charge. Iran's political system is complex, to say the least. The supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has the final say on everything. So what happens to the country's leadership, and who takes over next? These are massive wildcards that would totally change how Iran might react to an attack. And make no mistake, Iran would hit back, and hit back hard. They have a massive arsenal of ballistic missiles that can reach targets all across the region. They could go after U.S. military bases, like the Navy's 5th Fleet in Bahrain, and they can try to shut down global oil shipping. On top of that, they have a network of allies, proxies, that can launch their own coordinated attacks on Israel and other American allies. Now check this out. This is where modern warfare gets really interesting. Countries in the Gulf have spent billions on super advanced air defense systems, like the American-made Patriot. And you can see here, they are incredibly effective. But here's the catch. Analysts worry that even the best systems can get overwhelmed if an enemy throws hundreds of missiles and drones at them all at once, which, by the way, is a known Iranian strategy. The U.S. has a huge military presence all across the Middle East. We're talking dozens of bases and installations. And this number, 27, represents the major ones within range of Iranian missiles. These bases are projectile power, but in a war, they instantly become the primary targets, putting thousands of U.S. troops right on the front line. Okay, so you might be thinking, this is happening thousands of miles away. Why is this a direct crisis for a country like India? Well, the connections aren't just about politics. They're deeply personal, and they're economic. Just think about this number for a second. Over 10 million Indians. They are the backbone of the workforce in the Gulf. There are engineers, doctors, construction workers. The war wouldn't just put their lives in danger, it would also stop the billions of dollars they send back home every year, money that is absolutely vital to India's economy. And this right here perfectly illustrates what economists are calling India's nightmare scenario. See, more than half of India's oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. That's a tiny channel that Iran could Israel say that military pressure is the only way to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon and to stop its destabilizing actions in the region. The counter-argument, which you'll hear from others, is that a military strike would be a disaster. It would destroy Iran's nuclear knowledge, it would become a much bigger war, and it would probably just unite the Iranian people against one enemy. And beyond all the geopolitical arguments, we have to talk about the human cost, which is always devastating. In any modern air war, no matter how precise the weapons are, civilian casualties are a tragic and inevitable reality. The wars in Iraq, in Syria, in Afghanistan, they've led to hundreds of thousands of civilian deaths, creating trauma that lasts for generations and often fuels even more extremism. You hear this phrase a lot, the principle of self-defense. It's often used to justify taking military action before you get attacked. A statement like this one reflects a core belief that a nation has to act forcefully to get rid of threats before they can become reality. This clash of who is defending themselves is really at the heart of the entire security problem in the region.
And as we start to think about what happens after a conflict like this, it's pretty much impossible to ignore the very loud echoes of recent history.
The historical precedent is just crystal clear. The foreign-led efforts to remove regimes in Iraq and Libya were supposed to bring democracy and stability, but instead they completely shattered those countries, created huge power vacuums, and unleashed years of civil war and chaos that allowed groups like ISIS to rise. For the average person living there, the outcome was often much worse than the dictatorship it replaced.
And so this leaves all of us with a really fundamental, difficult question. As tensions in the Middle East keep simmering, can foreign intervention ever actually create lasting peace? Or have the lessons of the last decade taught us that trying to do so just risks repeating the exact same tragic mistakes? That is the question facing leaders today, and the fate of an entire region is hanging in the balance.